Hey guys, welcome back and welcome to the Rogerson Clematis Garden here in West Linn, Oregon. I am so in love with this place. I just toured it with a group of friends and it was beautiful. Now, a lot of people might say clematis. I always say clematis, but I think the proper way of saying it is actually clematis. So you'll hear me using the words interchangeably, but I came here with the intent of buying some beautiful plants. A lot of you have told me about this garden and I don't know why it's taken so long for me to get here, but I'm here now. And I think I was really inspired after our trip to Chelsea and the Cotswolds. We saw clematis everywhere throughout our visit. And I was just so inspired. And now I just want to dive deep into them. So this was the perfect place to come to learn more about them. There's so many beautiful varieties. They have an incredible collection of them at this garden, and you're going to be able to see some of them today. And they also have a place where you can buy some plants. So hopefully we're going to find some beautiful varieties that they have available. If not, I think they're going to have some more varieties available in the fall time. So if we have to wait for the perfect one, I will wait. The Rogerson Clematis Garden is a botanical gem that houses the most comprehensive collection of clematis in North America and one of the most respected in the world. The one-of-a-kind garden was founded thanks to vision and lifelong passion Brewster Rogerson, a clematis collector and educator who began collecting clematis in the 1970s. By the early 2000s, Brewster had a world-class collection, and to preserve it for future generations, the Friends of the Rogerson Clematis Collection was formed, a nonprofit that continues his legacy today. Now, this is pretty incredible. Today, the garden has over 2,400 individual clematis plants representing more than 960 distinct species and cultivars. The garden is designed to showcase clematis in a wide range of settings, from traditional arbors and trellises to creative combinations with shrubs, trees, and perennials. The displays are not only beautiful, but serve a living library for gardeners, designers, and researchers. You guys are going to absolutely love this garden. All right, I already did a quick walkthrough with a group of friends, and now I'm gonna bring you guys along so you can experience this beautiful garden. I highly recommend you come by because, oh my gosh, it is absolutely magical. So one of the new areas that they have right here is near the chicken coop. They've planted up a lot of beautiful clematis. So I have a habit of saying clematis, like I mentioned, but it's clematis. At least that's what the pros here say. But anyways, they have some really beautiful low-growing ones, non-climbing ones in this bed. And then right over here, this whole space here is also relatively new. And just look at how beautiful this terraced garden is. How stunning is this? And one of the cool things I'm going to show you guys right off the bat is the smallest clematis in the world is right here. And it only gets about 8 inches tall and wide. This is it right here. Isn't this so cool? And here's the name. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna botch the name, but here's the name. I think it's Marmaria. I forgot how they pronounce it, but anyways, there it is. This is the smallest clematis in the world, and you just got to see it. And it does bloom. It does bloom little white flowers. It's a very, very difficult to get. They try to take cuttings from it, but it's one of those that you're probably not going to see at a garden center anytime soon. But anyways, let's walk through here. So this is going to be the Japanese garden, and our group is eating right now. So we're going to walk by and then we'll just continue walking through and admiring everything. One thing I wanted to call out, these are the clematis that I am after today. So I'm looking for a Virona variety, and that's these ones that have kind of a bell and urn shape. These are the ones I'm after. And so I'm hoping that they're going to have some for sale because these are beautiful. And we'll talk a little bit more about these. Now, the cool thing about these is that they'll rebloom. So they will continue pumping out flowers, and you can continue deadheading and it'll pump out flowers, but the flowers are going to get smaller. So what you do is around mid-July is you cut it all the way down to the ground, and then it's going to start growing again. It's not going to get as tall as it did in the first flush, but it will grow about half its height right now. And then it will start producing flowers again. That's so amazing. So I am after one of these today. So hopefully we're going to find one where they have plants for sale. I hope. Crossing my fingers. I haven't checked yet. So not only am I admiring all of the beautiful clematis, but also all of the beautiful trees and shrubs and perennials that they've paired with them. So pay close attention to that if you want to learn how to design with these beautiful vines a bit better, instead of just having them on a trellis or an obelisk. There are just really fun ways that you can design with these, especially with the ones that are non-climbing. You can allow them to grow onto different plants and shrubs and trees, and we'll see some examples of that throughout here. All right, so we are going to walk through this area. Now, again, these are varieties here that were bred in Japan. So the nice thing about this garden is everything is broken out to where they were bred and by who, and different styles of gardening. So a lot of them over here are not blooming, unfortunately, but we will see several of them into the heirloom garden that we are going to enter right here soon. But look at how beautiful and serene this garden is. And just look at this gorgeous beech tree. This tree, I'm so curious to know how old it is, but look at the trunk on that thing. Massive. But anyways, if we come through here, there's just so many beautiful perennials. I love how there's so many different types of evergreens incorporated throughout this whole garden. This maple tree, of course, was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love how you have a maple tree or any sort of tree forking a pathway like this into a different garden. Oh, I just think that's so charming. So now we're entering the heirloom garden, and here is where they have some beautiful roses, lots of hydrangeas. It has more of a cottage feel to it. We're going to see a lot of fuchsias and just a ton of beautiful clematis. Again, we are seeing more of these Virona varieties. Look at that one. Isn't that so stunning? So this one was from Japan, and we're just going to swing over. Oh my goodness. Just look at this. Isn't that just the sweetest thing? I am so in love with these varieties. I love all of the hostas, the ferns, the hellebores, and you'll see that there's a ton of different ground cover here, lots of different types of varieties, a lot of thyme, which I really love because I am trying so hard to be mindful about planting more ground cover in our garden, and you'll see that in some of the other areas of this garden. Here is Lady Northcliffe, and look at that beautiful lavender with the pink. That is so stunning. Now, I think the singles are so beautiful. A lot of them are really nice and big and kind of have like a flat look to them, but they're so stunning in their coloring. But I love the doubles the most. I think those are so striking. And the cool thing about those, or the interesting thing about those, is they tend to bloom a double on old wood, but not on the new wood. So there's a lot of breeders around the world right now that are trying to breed ones that are going to be double flowering, whether it's on new wood or old wood, which I just thought was so fascinating. I had no idea that people were working on this. So this garden is right in front of the old farmhouse, so it's just really charming. It definitely gives you like a homey feel, and just imagine being able to create a beautiful garden like this. Like, what a dream that would be. If I swing over this way, I wanted to show you a really fun plant pairing over here. So here is this clematis, and it's a non-climbing one, but what they do is they planted it right next to this fuchsia. That way it just kind of falls over the fuchsia and kind of flops over wherever it kind of wants to. And Linda, the curator, was telling us that was purposeful. Like, she loved that combination of plants. I can't remember where she saw it first. But anyways, I just thought that was so pretty, and I would love to have fuchsias like this in our garden and have some of these clematis just flowing over like that. Isn't that stunning? Lots of beautiful David Austin roses as well. Cute porch area. Beautiful delphiniums. Oh my gosh, this thing is massive. This has to be, I don't know, maybe 8 feet tall, 7 feet tall. Holy moly. They did have some spill over here onto the path. Lots of daylilies as well. Lots of beautiful hardy geraniums. My gosh, we are so going to be planting some of these in our garden. We just saw them everywhere. in England and any really like cottage garden, we're seeing hardy geraniums. So here's a funny story about this one right here that's planted in this container. So they've actually sunken this container into this larger container that was donated to them. And the reason they did that, they didn't want to plant anything directly into it, is because if you try to take anything out of a container that kind of comes up like this, that has this kind of lip shape at the top, it's so difficult to do, and you would probably have to just break the container. And I've talked about this before when we were shopping for containers for our peach tree and our persimmon tree, is you always want to get a container, if you can, that's really wide at the top. And if you don't, that's fine, but just keep in mind, if you take things out or you're trying to take something out of it, it's going to be a lot harder. So what you can do is just sink a container in, and this is one of their very special cultivars here, so that's why they didn't want to mess with planting it in. So it's just filled with this gravel. There are some containers below it to raise it up this way. But anyways, I just wanted to call that out. If you are going to get containers that have this shape, just be mindful. They're not going to be the easiest to take things out of if you plan on it. So now, one of the things that I've noticed is they have so many different types of obelisks, which I am totally loving and obsessing over. And one of the other things that they're using to let these clematis climb on them are these ladders, these clematis ladders. And I don't have one in our garden, but I actually love the way that they're climbing on here. It's kind of hard to see this one here, but they make some really tall varieties now, which makes it a lot easier to just allow them to kind of get to this shape. I think this is an heirloom nepeta here, and it kind of grows like a weed, but look at how beautiful it's gotten. Lots of pretty hydrangeas. Oh, and the butterflies. They also have these really beautiful shrub varieties right here that just really look like a shrub. Look at those stunning little clusters of flowers. Isn't that precious? I love that so much. I also want one of these in our garden. The really cool thing about this garden is they have some of the rarest varieties and ones that are very hard to find and you won't see in other areas in the US that are from either Poland, Japan, England, so many other countries that Linda had mentioned on our tour. And so it's just so fascinating to able to be around these plants that were cultivated by these incredible humans around the world, and we have them right here in the Pacific Northwest. That blows my mind. And we will definitely be back when more of them are in bloom so we can really get a closer look at all of the different varieties. But I did want to show you guys, I want to come down here to the bank and just give you a glimpse of that space. There's one variety out here that I wanted to show you. This is Princess Diana. Look at how pretty this is. Are you kidding me? That is so stunning. So they do have some other varieties right here planted out throughout as well. I just really enjoyed this view of the house in the background and all of the other plants that they have through here. Just some really sweet varieties throughout as well. Now here off to the side is the modern garden. And now these clematis were all bred, I think it was post-World War II. So these are the modern ones that you'll get to see. And we can just walk down and take a look. Black Prince, that's a beauty. Look at that. I love this one. I think this one is brocade. So pretty. Here's Cornish Spirit. That's a beauty. Look at this. Wow. It's almost like a purple wine color. And right below everything here are strawberries that they've planted throughout. This one's called Elf. That's cute. Dark eyes. Fitting for that one. Here's fairy dust. And look at how pretty that one is. Here's a really gorgeous, gorgeous white one. Beautiful bride. And look, hold on, let me find a good one. Look at the size of this. Isn't this insane? Look at that. That's so striking. Wow. Here's another non-climbing. It looks like it produces a lot of blooms. I like that one a lot. And just having them grow like this too is so beautiful. I would definitely do this if I was going to use them for cut flowers, which they actually make a really good cut flower. These last 4 rows here were bred by Raymond Ives, and he is a pretty well-known breeder of these beauties. I mean, look at this one, confetti. Look at that. So all of these beds here are dedicated to his varieties that he's bred. And oh my goodness, look at this one here. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is so pretty. Holy cow. Which one is this? Francisca Maria? Love that. Here's one from Holland, Blue Light. Very fluffy center. And some of these just have really striking seed heads. Even when they're done blooming, they look really pretty. Paola. That is so pretty. Look at the form on this one. It's kind of all over the place and I love it. There's one over here that's calling me. It's like, Claudia, come here. Come look at me. This one is Violet Stardust. These are smaller flowers, but they almost look like a star. And they really do look like little stardust. They almost glow. I like that. We could probably spend hours and hours looking at every single variety that they have. It would be the longest tour ever. Kathleen Dunford. Yes, love that. Ooh, little spider. And here's a really beautiful dark burgundy, Nubia. Look at that. Wow. That is so pretty. It has like a glittery sheen on it. You probably won't be able to see that on the camera, but that's very interesting. Very different from the other colors that we typically see with clematis. Esme or Esme, that's also very nice. Kind of more of a pale lavender, but it's also very pretty. Some of these pale ones have more of a cooler color to them and not so much like a warmer tone. Star of India. This one is also very pretty. Deep, deep purple. Just look at how pretty these look against the house. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. What I appreciate about these gardens is how they incorporate everything into the landscape. So for us home gardeners, it gives us so many ideas of what we can do with these beautiful flowers, because I think often we just think like, again, we grow them on an obelisk or on a trellis, but you can buy the non-climbing ones and just allow them to kind of grow a little bit wild. And Linda was telling us she has somebody that she knows that grows a lot of bulbs, and they also have clematis growing near the bulbs. So once the bulbs are done, it just kind of grows over them. So you don't have to worry about cutting back the foliage of your bulbs, like your tulips or whatever bulbs that you have in the springtime, because they have these non-climbing clematis in their garden. It just kind of covers everything up. And I just thought, that is genius. Why aren't we all doing that? All right, let's make our way down to the other garden. So I think we'll go, let's go into the founder's garden. So Rogerson's garden right over here. Now, one of the interesting things about Brewster's garden down here is he didn't want anything flowering other than the clematis. He was very specific about that. He didn't want anything else to outshine them, because often you'll see them planted with roses and they kind of bounce off of each other. But here he just wanted the flowering plant to be the clematis, and that's all you're going to see in this garden. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of really beautiful complementary shrubs and perennials throughout here, but for the most part, the only things that flower here is the clematis. So this is a very special place as well. Here's one that stood out to me. This is Duchess of Waverly. And look at how pretty that is. So this one looks to be a little bit faded already. And here's a newer one. But that color, I don't know what it is. It kind of has a smoky tone to it. And I love any flower color that has a smoky tone to it. It just catches my eye every single time. Here's another Duchess of Waverly right over there, tucked throughout. And here's one that I really wanted to show you guys. They have already sold out for the season of this variety, but this one is called Fond Memories, and I desperately want one. It's so pretty with those purple edges, the white center, and then that dark center. Look at how striking this flower is. Look at this. It just looks like somebody came in here with like a makeup brush and just colored the edges of it. What a stunner. I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. And here's a really fun one. This one is called Helios, and it's a true yellow clematis. And it's probably one of the few yellow ones because often you'll see the broader ones, so like these varieties, where it looks yellow, but it's more of a creamy color. They're not a true yellow, but this one is. So if you're looking for one that is, Helios is the one for you. And it's so pretty. Very thick petals. Very interesting. If we make our way down, we have the orchard down here. And I got really excited about all of the trees that they have. So much fun. And this was also just such a beautiful space. They have the trial garden in the back over there that we will walk through quickly. Look at this sweet space over here. Here's another variety that stood out to me. Oh, it's so pretty. Petite, I think Fawson, if I'm not mistaken. Look at this flower. Isn't that so cool? I love the way that these look. I just think it's so fun. And in a pretty obelisk like that one, that's so beautiful. Here's another striking variety. Look at that color. Gorgeous. Now these three beds up here are ones that were bred by a couple of Polish breeders, and they're so beautiful. There's one over here that's super vigorous. Let's see, who is it? Polish Spirit. And that's that one right there, that dark purple. Look at how pretty it is. And if you want something that's vigorous, that's the one you want. And if you do end up coming out to this garden, if you just look at the tags, it will tell you exactly the name, where they were bred, and then also the breeder will be on the tag as well. I just love the layout of this garden. There's one over here too. Look at this. Look at that pretty one. I think it's this big one right here, or maybe this is Western Platte. I'm not sure. Look at that, how massive. That is a large flower, my friends. This is a really cool part of the garden. So this is the beginner's garden, and it's the International Clematis Society maintains a list of 60 plus clematis suitable for gardeners who have never previously grown them. So all of these varieties are suitable for the beginners like me. So does that mean I should get one of each? I don't know. And I believe there is a guide, a comprehensive guide that you can find on their site of all of the varieties. So I'll make sure to link that down below for you guys in the description box if you're wanting to get a full list of all of the ones. And now this back here is the Baltic border, which originating from countries once behind the Iron Curtain, the clematis, and these beds were bred in Estonia, the former East Germany, Russia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So that is all of these beautiful varieties here. And then this is the retail space. So you can tell they've sold out of a lot of things, but they still have quite a few varieties here. I don't think we're gonna find the one that I'm looking for, which I'm bummed out, but they did say they will have it in the springtime. So that just means we have to come back. Oh well. there's still quite a bit of good varieties throughout here as well. So let me take a quick look and see if there's one that is speaking to me. Wasn't that garden so spectacular? I'm so happy I got to bring you guys along. I'm definitely going back. I have just so much to see there. I have so many questions to ask. So I will definitely be back at that garden. I did pick up one clematis today that I'm very excited about. So I think we'll get this one planted today. You'll probably hearing my stepdad in the background talking on the phone. So excuse that. All right, here's the variety that I went with, and I'm very excited about this one because this is going to be the first variety that I have that is a Vitacella, and the variety is the Manette, and it's just a really beautiful white and the edges of it. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this back a little bit. It's kind of like a creamy white with darker pink, reddish edging around it, and it has more of like a cup shape to it a little bit, so it's not quite open. And the great thing about these is they are going to bloom from June until September. And let me see if I can find some of the buds. So here are the little buds on them. So they're kind of scattered throughout the whole plant. And the great thing about these varieties, they're very hardy and they pump out so many flowers. So I'm just so excited to see how this is going to do in our garden. And the ones that I picked out looks very healthy. When you're picking out a plant, I always try to look for one that has foliage on the bottom too. So oftentimes you'll see ones that the leaves or the foliage starts like up here. But I was actually taught that you should pick ones that have foliage all the way down. And there's multiple branching right here. So this was a good variety to select. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping for any of the varieties for your garden. So let's go ahead and get this one planted so we can start enjoying it immediately. All right, so I think I'm going to plant it right back here. Now this variety requires 6 to 8 hours of sun. So it takes sun to part shade or full sun to part shade. So this area I think will work really well. Now there is one clematis already in there, but it's not really doing much. So I'm going to take the risk and plant this one together, and then hopefully they will be friends and not compete with one another. I don't think they will because I've seen a lot of varieties being grown together. So I may just tuck this new one, like maybe right here in the front and have it grow in. And then that way we don't have to dig anywhere around where the other one is. We'll see if that works. If not, we can always move it. All right, I am going to be using our new 5-inch auger, which we just talked about these tools, and power planter and how awesome they are. I'll make sure to link it down below. And I am just going to go right here. There's lots of roots here. All right, that's perfect. That was what, less than a minute? That was nice. All right, now I'm going to put in a little bit of biotone starter fertilizer in the hole. Get those roots going. All right, so I'm just gently removing all of the tags, and I will gently slide the plant out and leave the stake in. I don't want to use it. Just be very careful here. So I'm just gently removing this stake that was in here, and then we can gently remove out the plant. Ooh, good roots, my goodness. Wow. Healthy, healthy roots. And then we'll just gently plant it. And I'll butt it up right next to the obelisk, kind of how they had it on the stake, the wood stake. And now I'm just going to backfill everything in. And then I'm just going to slowly weave some of these branches on the vine, and then we'll secure them in as they start to grow even more. All right, I really love the way that that looks. I don't want to fuss with it too much. I just want to let it get acclimated here a bit. But I think this looks pretty good. I've separated some of the branching a bit here so they can evenly grow out. And now we'll just get her watered in. All right, doesn't she look great? I am so excited to see the blooms on these. And I think this is a great area. I like how it's light, so it's just going to add a little pop of brightness in this corner, and I think it'll bounce off really nicely off of our Emperor maple here, that dark color with that lighter color. I think that's going to be stunning. Now this variety is supposed to get 9 to 12 feet tall. So this obelisk is not quite that tall, but I think it'll be fine because I can allow it to climb onto the trees, which I don't mind that at all. And again, it likes a well-draining soil, so I think it's going to do really well in this space. We do have drip irrigation running to it, so I don't have to worry about watering it. I still need to come back and water it in for today. And then in terms of care, I will go ahead and just prune off any of the spent blooms just to help it continue blooming throughout the whole season. And then in February, we will come in and we will cut it all the way down to the ground, and it will start flushing out all new growth in the springtime. I really enjoy growing these vines on obelisks, but at the garden, we also saw them growing it in so many different ways. One of the other places that I saw them growing it was along a chicken coop. So if you have a chicken coop and you want to grow some pretty flowers on it, and say you don't want to do like a climbing rose, you can always do a climbing clematis. And I think that would look so stunning, and it would just soften the walls of that structure so much. So here's another really great contender as far as a climbing plant to add onto a structure in your garden. All right, guys, that will wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed going on that garden tour and seeing all of those beautiful clematis. I know you guys will tell me down below if I'm saying it right or wrong. Anyways, just seeing all of those beautiful flowers together, exploring the garden. I cannot believe it took me this long to get there. They're literally like 15 minutes away from our house. So you can bet I am going to be going there frequently because I just want to learn more, and I cannot wait to add more of these beautiful vines into our garden. It's going to be so exciting. So anyways, thank you guys again for hanging out with me today in my garden and also in their garden, and now we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye-bye.